Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
I remember when I was a kid going off to summer camp, and I forget the name of the camp, but my brother went to camp with me as well. My sister was too young to go to camp. I remember being homesick right away, and that faded real quickly because you start getting with other kids your age and you're running around. And the week away really, the week away went really fast. Let's just put it that way. It was fun, sitting around a campfire. We took a big hike and slept out under the stars one night. I just thought it was the coolest thing. Could have swore there was a bear, in the camp with us. Probably not, but the counselors kind of have you, they gaslight you into thinking, oh my gosh, these woods are full of bears. And maybe that's the case, but I doubt that they were anywhere near us. But I do remember at one point at the camp, there's a lot of hijinks going on, and screwing around and getting in trouble with the counselor who was in charge of our cabin. And the cabin probably slept 20 people, and there might have been 10 cabins or something like that. I don't know. I don't exactly remember, but there were a lot of people. It's just kind of envision the army bunks. There's the bunk beds, and there's a bunch of them, and we're all in there. And I remember getting in trouble, and the counselor saying, "Okay, I'm going to punish you." Like, all right, what's my punishment? And what he had me do, he said, I want you to stand at the end of your bed, and I want you to hold your hands out at your side. For those who are listening to the audio portion of this, I'm basically forming a T with my arms, and it's holding my arms out at my side. And I remember in the moment kind of snickering, like, this is no big deal. This is my punishment. Standing here with my arms at my side, I can handle this. And then, basically hold them there. And as time went on, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute, minute and a half, those arms start to get heavy rather quickly. And it became painful at a point. And it certainly was, it's not like getting spanked or getting hit or anything like that, but it's, it made you think. It made you think and kind of whipped you into shape, if you will. And that's the whole intention behind punishment, is to make you think so you don't repeat the behavior. And I don't know what the behavior was, maybe throwing something, or whatever. It doesn't matter. I deserved whatever I got. I usually usually do. But I've thought about that over the years, because it really does relate to relationships if you stop and think about it. And the reason it relates to relationships is so often when I talk about relationships, and I share things with people, they'll kind of tisk, like, yeah, okay, that's like, that's no big deal, Frank. Just like putting your arms out at your side. It's no big deal. Doing those things is no big deal. It's not, but it's maintaining it's maintaining whatever it is. And I'll get into the topic here over time. So I was reading a study, and the study was looking at relationships and really what they found to be the foundation of great relationships. And the foundation of great relationships is basically gratitude, being grateful, being appreciative of the people in your life. Now, I will tell you that much of the study centered on marital relationships and romantic relationships. But I am a fan of, I believe that relationships are relationships. And, God gave us one brain, and there's not a special compartment for business. How we come to trust people, how we come to like people, how we come to know people are really not so different in our professional lives as they are in our personal lives. So I'm often intrigued by what they learn in these marital settings or these romantic settings. And what they found is that a key to successful relationships is just having gratitude or being appreciative of other people. And stop and think about it. What do you want from your existence? From a spouse, from a significant other, from work? You want to be appreciated. I remember working when I worked in public accounting. I wanted to be appreciated. I wanted to be acknowledged that I have a contribution to the greater good of the firm. That okay, hey, you hit your hours and your billings are good and your collections are good. You wanted to feel appreciation, and whenever I felt like the times when I didn't feel like I enjoyed working there was when I just didn't feel appreciated. Oh my gosh, I was at the office till 10 o'clock every night this week and nobody even noticed. Nobody even cares. And you felt the best when your boss would pull you aside and say, you know what, I, I've seen what you've done, and I've been busy, and I'm looking at the numbers, and you're doing great. Keep it up. So we want to feel appreciated. And if that's what I'm a sample size of one. I always say, I'm a sample size of one. But if I can kind of look into my own heart as to what I want, um, I can project that out to other people. And generally, if I'm looking to be appreciated, then I would imagine other people want to be appreciated as well. And so that's I don't know that I'm so far off base, and it's not such a huge stretch to believe that others want what I want. And certainly that's what this study is saying is they they can see it, that people want to be appreciated. They want to they want others to express a sense of gratitude towards them, whatever it might be. And I'm sure you're listening to this and saying, okay, yeah, that's not a big deal. Sure, I'm appreciative of other people. I do appreciate people. And in your mind, you're kind of thinking back, okay, I did this. I gave my assistant a card, or I said thank you to her or him. And I see I'm appreciative. And the reality is I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying it needs to be more than just taking a conscious moment to think back in the past and say, okay, this is what I did. So check the box. I'm appreciative. It needs to be something that's on an ongoing basis. So I get back to the punishment at camp. Not that being appreciative is a punishment. It's not. It's, generally when I express appreciation, I feel good as well because I've made somebody feel, you know, a sense of gratitude. They've felt appreciated, and that kind of lifts them up, and so then that'll in turn will lift me up. So it's not a punishment, but I do use the metaphor or the analogy of holding out my arms at my side, and that it it takes effort in the short term, or it doesn't take a whole lot of effort in the short term, but over the long term, you just kind of lose focus, and it gets harder. And it's the same thing with respect to you know, being grateful to with other people. And the reason I say that, and one of the things that they found in the study is that couples that and a lot of the study centered on people who had been in relationship for a long time. They had 600 couples that participated in the study, and some were put in the experimental group and some were put in the control group. And the article I read really doesn't talk about what they did, but what they started to measure the sense of gratitude or appreciation that people felt. But what they determined, one of the things they found, and I will say this, expressing gratitude and appreciating the people in your lives is not everything, right? And they say that in here. It's not everything to a relationship, but it is a strong foundation upon which to build. And you can be appreciative of somebody. Well, obviously, you need to be sincere about it. You can be appreciative and still run afoul of lots of other things. And we don't need to get into all of that. But appreciation is the foundation for success. But what they found in the study was is that as couples moved along, as they were together longer and longer, the sense of appreciation went down. People didn't feel as appreciated. And again, it gets back to my metaphor of holding your arms out at your side. Yeah, it's easy to do. Easy in the first 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, it gets harder. Relationship, when we start out in a relationship, we start out and we're very conscious of it. I got a new employee or a new client, I'm really going to be appreciative of them. Or, for me, it's a new franchisee or director in the organization, be very appreciative of them. But then as time goes on, are we as appreciative? Do we do the things that we need to do? And it becomes more of a challenge. because we kind of get caught up in things, and we get more people, especially in a romantic or a marital setting. There's one spouse to focus your attention on. For many of us in business, there's lots of clients, there's lots of networking partners that are in our lives, so it certainly does become more complicated. But we need to recognize the fact that it is complicated. It is like keeping our arms out at our side, and it can become difficult in time. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's just we need to focus more attention on it. So the lesson behind all this is that you need to do the things, whatever you need to do. And I think we live in a wonderful world because we have contact relationship softwares, CRMs, things like that, management systems where you can prompt you. You know what? I haven't done something in a while for this person, or here's a client I need to reach out to them, or here's a networking partner I need to reach out to them. I haven't made a comment on somebody's social media, so it can kind of help us keep us grounded or guide our activities. But we need to do what we can to know that the best way to build the relationship, to keep the relationship going, is by expressing appreciation, and that it becomes more difficult in time, and we need to keep after it if we want things to be successful in our lives.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today, and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.